Big Kish news up in here. Breaking news. It's time to be honest about Kendrick Lamar. And this is the good part. This the good part. This the good part. Shout out to Rapaholics. I will leave a link in the description so y'all go check out the video uninterrupted. And we're about to see what he's talking about up in here. You know what I'm saying? Without further ado, let's get this news. I still haven't found the introduction yet, but we just rocking out over here, man. We just trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers, you know what I mean? So, yeah, let's get it, y'all.
Kendrick's inner circle, claiming that his longtime friend and manager Dave Free had an affair with his fiancée Whitney, and Kendrick was now raising his manager and fiancée's kid as if it was his own. But worst of all, darkest of all, by far the darkest allegation in this whole battle was Drake claimed that Kendrick physically assaulted his fiancée. Now, yes, being a
low blows.
PDF file is definitely just as bad, if not worse, than being a woman abuser. But again, we haven't gotten to Not Like Us yet. Those allegations haven't boiled to the surface just yet. At this point, Drake drops Family Matters, accusing Kendrick of the most heinous acts of violence and betrayal amongst his family dynamic. And before the world can sit down and digest every bar that Drake just rapped, every attack, every allegation he just revealed, with the snap of a finger, Kendrick made the world completely forget Family Matters ever existed, pulling the arguably smartest move that has ever been done in.
He did, bro. He did. And I'm telling you, he made the world forget everything, man. Everything that Drake done did, he made the world just forget about it. Ain't nobody talking about nothing Drake did, bro.
In a rap battle, dropping Meet the Grams 30 minutes after Drake released Family Matters. Talking to each one of Drake's family members, Kendrick starts the song off writing a letter to Adonis, painting Drake again as an absent father who does not teach his son the proper values of a man, and instead offering to be Adonis's role model due to the fact that Drake is distracted from raising his son and distracted by the toxicity of being a famous pop star, engaging in the escort business, code switching, abusing substances, mistreating Adonis's mother, and taking disrespect throughout his entire career. Then he speaks to both Drake's mother and father, painting Drake in an even more brutal light, accusing him of being the hip-hop Harvey Weinstein, hypersexualizing black women, the very audience that made up the largest segment of Drake's early fan base, keeping S offenders on his payroll, being a predator, a manipulator, and such a horrible person that Drake's parents should regret ever even conceiving him. Now, I will give Drake this. In my opinion, the one false step that Kendrick took throughout this entire battle was on the third verse of Meet the Grams, where he pens a letter to Drake's alleged 11-year-old daughter, who Kendrick claimed Drake was hiding, like his son, from the entire world. Now, I say this was a false step for two reasons. Number one, there has been no concrete evidence that has come out to prove that Drake indeed does have a daughter. Number two, and this is more a subjective take, I know that in rap battles, lies can be tossed. It doesn't necessarily take away from the credibility.
But look, I'm going to say this, Rapaholics. There's more truth alluding to that he does have a daughter versus it being any truth that he abused Whitney. Way more proof. We got the concert. She was at the end of the concert. He was picking the same little girl up. The little girl's last name is Graham. Let's not forget that thing that was posted on IG a couple months ago, where she was a part of this little family fun day thing. And her last name is Graham. Okay? And we got third of all. Remember, her mother was posting Graham Street, like her eyebrows, her lips, like, come on now. We can't, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, as far as concrete evidence, as far as, oh, we haven't seen the DNA test paperwork. I mean, there's so many people with parents who haven't seen the DNA test, and they just swear up and down that, oh, these my parents. You don't know if your parents are your parents until you see a DNA test. So we could play with that all day, you know what I mean?
of that rapper's performance. However, to me, this beef reached its low point when both artists were throwing allegations against one another without any concrete evidence to back it up. Kendrick did a good enough job decoding Drake's personality to a T without having to stoop to Drake's low level by creating narratives with no factual evidence to back them up. But again, everything about this record alone did the job perfectly to not only decode Drake's personality, but also distract the entire public from the bombshell of a diss track that Drake put out 30 minutes before with Family Matters. Everything from the artwork of Meet the Grams with the Ozempic pills and all of the leaked alleged personal belongings of Drake that were featured on that cover, to the incredible structure of that record, with each verse being a personal letter from Kendrick to one of Drake's family matters, where he addresses their dynamic with Drake specifically, while simultaneously critiquing every flaw in Drake and his relationship with them. This was more than enough to make every single person watching this beef carefully quickly stop what they were doing and sit with this record in absolute shock and horror, and witness Kendrick pick every ounce of Drake's personality apart, menacingly painting him as this irredeemable figure with flaws as shameful as being a degenerate, alcoholic, gambling addict, to as brutal as being a predatory, surgically enhanced, perverted, absent father who not only failed to raise his son and mistreated his son's mother, but simultaneously hid a daughter from the entire world for 11 years. Whether that was true or not, the damage was done. Kendrick took complete control of the narrative, clobbering over Family Matters.
And the internet was on it. The internet was on it. And it's so much alluding to that is the truth. But we can't find nothing. I mean, nothing. I mean, we had a girl came out and say, yeah, we was in a hotel room and I heard Kendrick, I heard this rapper hitting on this, are you Are you paid off? Was she paid off? But as far as this little Graham girl, her last name is Graham. Her eyebrows are thick. Her lips look just like her father's lips. And he was picking her up, kissing on her at the show. And don't forget the pictures. There's pictures of him hugged up with some little girl, the same little girl. Like, come on. We really can't. Like, hey. It's about time for him to come on out now. This argument is, you know what I mean?
Matters, which Drake considered his red button, his nuke that would end Kendrick and all the rest of the rappers that he was going up against. In the span of 30 minutes, that diss record and every allegation made within it was completely neutralized. And while the world recovered from the brutality of Meet the Grams, Kendrick refused to even let his own diss record breathe, as on the next morning of May the 4th, Kendrick played Drake's game better than he could ever play it. You could find a million breakdowns of Not Like Us and why the subject matter within it has caused irreparable damage to Drake's career, but I want to take you guys through a couple specific reasons as to why that song was one of the greatest records and moves ever made in a rap battle. Firstly, as we saw before, after Drake released Push Ups, everyone doubted Kendrick due to his silence. Even though it took Drake longer to respond with Push Ups after Kendrick released Like That than it took Kendrick to respond to Push Ups with Euphoria, Like That to Push Ups was 22 days, Push Ups to Euphoria was only 17. Maybe because of the prior long leap of silence Kendrick took between Damn and Mr. Morale, many people took Kendrick's silence between Push Ups and Euphoria for weakness.
I don't know. I don't think Kendrick's cooking up. It don't take him 3-4 weeks. I think that's over. It don't take 3 or 4 weeks.
Also possibly due to...
Yeah, get him out of here. That dude look like a thumb. Get him out of here. I don't even want to hear from him. He think all ninjas is broke.
The new precedent that Drake set in his beef with Meek Mill, where he went back to back. The internet...
There go. Bro, how you massage another man's beard and that man talking about some... Bro, I clowned the hell out of this last night. Hold on, we gotta get this again. This dude said...
Mill, where he went back to back. The internet now concocted this narrative that rappers had to be on some sort of time clock during a rap battle. It's like they forgot that Ether and Takeover were released months in between each other. But because of how quickly Drake came with back to back, it was no longer about how poignant your diss records were, but instead about how quickly you could concoct them. And with that being the narrative before Euphoria, After Not Like Us, Drake and all of his minions were begging Kendrick to quit. Drake's affiliates went from saying, "Tell that boy to drop," but he knows he can't because he doesn't have anything, to Drake unofficially bowing out of this beef on the Heart Part 6, saying that he knows Kendrick's going to release something 30 minutes later, and Drake essentially was done.
You got 10 more records to drop, and you go and drop the West Coast one. I would like that one. That would be some shit I could dance to if you wasn't tripling down on some whole other bullshit. I'm happy I can motivate you.
Meet the Grams put an end to the time clock narrative, but Not Like Us put an end to the battle.
He tried to piece it up. I'm happy I can motivate you, you know what I'm saying? He thought Kendrick gonna come back and be like, yeah, I appreciate you for motivating me. Nah, nigga. That shit don't sit well with me. Before I piece it up, I take him to hell with me. Before I make a truce, I take him to hell with me.
Completely. The narrative was no longer how quickly will Drake respond to Not Like Us, but instead, how will Drake ever recover from Not Like Us? Not only did Kendrick play Drake's game in terms of going back to back in a quick amount of time, but he did so with a hit song that will stand the test of time for generations to come. Even rappers who were defending Drake throughout most of this beef had to admit that Not Like Us will grow to be a generational timeless classic. Fat Joe compared it to a song like In the Club or Lean Back, with quotables that fans will be singing for years to come. And 50 Cent, one of Drake's biggest defenders, justified Drake's lawsuit by stating that Drake needs to do whatever he can in his power to stop Not Like Us from being performed on a stage as big as the Super Bowl and introducing a record that catchy to an even wider global audience. We already went through in this video a lot of the ways that Kendrick picked apart Drake's character, a lot of which were further exemplified and emphasized on Not Like Us, with Kendrick devoting an entire verse to Drake code switching and colonizing when he runs to Atlanta in search of a few dollars, or his predatory tendencies and maltreatment of women by obviously accusing him of being a PDF file and also mistreating women like Serena Williams. But what made these personal attacks against Drake that much more poignant, harsher, reputation damaging, and memorable was not the fact that Kendrick was saying anything new on Not Like Us that he didn't already say on Euphoria or Meet the Grams. It was because of the fact that on Not Like Us, every diss was quotable. When you think of that song, you think of trying to strike a chord, but it's probably A minor. You think of Certified Lover Boy, Certified PDF File. You think of the ending where he chants Freaky Guy, He is 69 God, or OV Ho. Those are the lyrics that Fat Joe emphasized are quotable enough that people will be singing them for years to come. The same way people sing Go Shawty It's Your Birthday off of 50 Cents in the Club, they're now going to be singing Let Me Hear You Say OV Ho.
You look like Drake. I feel like a mule. I feel like one.
Not cell block one, then.
So never go cell block one.
I'm getting off of here because at the end of the day,
He said, don't never go to Cell Block 1.
Like Drake.
It was the Is That a World Tour, Your Girls Tour on steroids. He played Drake's game, but did it way better.
Nah, but seriously though, y'all keep y'all children away from this type of music, man.
In the heat of victory, arrogance and overconfidence can push you past the goal you had aimed for. And by going too far, you make more enemies than you defeat. Do not allow success to go to your head. There is no substitute for strategy and careful planning. Set a goal, and when you reach it, stop. And Kendrick's goal for the rest of the year has seemingly been to uplift his home state of California. His first appearance after the beef was a surprise one at the Compton College graduation for 2024, where he made a speech to the graduating students, letting them know that Compton isn't just where he's from, but also embodies who he is.
Seeing y'all out here is not only a representation of the world, but it's a representation of me. When I walk out in these cities and these countries, I could be proud and say, this is where I'm from. You know, y'all had a lot of hardship, not only in your house, in your communities, but most importantly, within yourself. And that's the toughest thing to overcome. And we still growing day by day, brick by brick.
Later that month, in June of 2024, Kendrick announced his first live performance since the beef ended. But this wasn't just any live performance. This wasn't even a Kendrick Lamar show. This was a representation of the greatness of his city. Spanning over 3 hours long, the concert featured over 25 different West Coast artists throughout the event, with sets from DJ Head and DJ Mustard, bringing out various guests like Ty Dolla $ign, Dom Kennedy, Steve Lacy, Roddy Ricch, YG, Tyler the Creator, Tommy the Clown, and much more. Kendrick decided to host the show in a smaller venue in Inglewood rather than the massive Staples Center in LA.
Oh, damn, I'm bugging, y'all. I can't even upload videos past 15 minutes. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about the video, man. Big Kish signing out. I'm gone, y'all.